Today is 7th January 1990. Last Sunday was the last day of the year 89 and the decade. Mentally, I convey to all of you my good wishes for this new year. Today I do it verbally, conveying my good wishes to all of you for 1990. We have been with the Gita for more than a year and a half. We have been close to this great practical philosophy meant for all people in all parts of the world. We have about 2.5 chapters left, which we shall do in the coming Sundays. And today I just convey my love and best wishes to all of you for a very fruitful year, 1990. Mentally, you may be saying the same thing to me also. I accept it. We have to help each other, say good things to each other. That is the teaching of the Gita. Parasparam bhavayanta shreya param avapsyatha, in the 3rd chapter. By helping each other, nourishing each other, all can rise to the highest level. That is the philosophy for society given by Sri Krishna in the 3rd chapter dealing with the subject of yajna. All actions to be done in a spirit of yajna, reverence. That is a wonderful chapter. We have completed it several months ago. Here in this 16th chapter, we have been dealing with the 2 types of human beings, Daivi, Asuri, Sampat, qualities of a divine nature, qualities of a demoniac nature. We were just in the midst of that description of that demoniac nature, Asuri, Sampat nature. Several verses we have completed. We go further to complete this description in this chapter. We have seen ahankaram balam darpam kamam krodham cha samshitaha mam atma paradeheshu pradvishanto abhyusuyakaha. One idea is emphasized here. People with ahankara, egoism, balam, pride or strength, darpam also means pride, kamam, lust, krodham, anger, cha samsritaha. Depending upon these, what do? Mam atma paradeheshu. You say, they are malignant people, they hurt me in themselves and in others. See the language. I am present in all. By their wicked ways, they hurt me in themselves and in others. Atma para deheshu. That I am existing in all these beings, those whom they insult, or they rob, or they do any harm. I am there in them. They are really harming me. This is the Vedantic teaching. Pradvishanto, with great hatred to me in all these people and in themselves. They abhyasuyakaha, malignant in their attitude. That is one of the qualities of the Asuri Sampat people. As I said last Sunday, Such people are there in society, unfortunately. Sometimes they may change, they may improve. Sometimes they are so fixed in it, there is no way to get out. The word used here is hell. As I said, hellish condition. There is no separate place called hell, or there is no separate people called asura or deva. Humanity itself is of these two types. We can choose to be either this or that. Power of choice in our hands. But this person has chosen that way. So he goes down and down and down. Goes to a hellish condition. Wherever there is no light, there is only darkness, we treat it as hellish. The light of the Atman, the light of the divine within, is completely shut out from such people. They live a hellish life. Asurya namate loka. In the Isha Upanishad, this verse occurs. They go to worlds of the asuras, or without the sun, without the illumination of the sun. Asurya, Asurya. Both ways it is pronounced there. Asurya namate loka. It says, very full of darkness and evil. Tamste pretya bhigachanti. Yeke cha atmahano janaha. The wonderful word is there. Atmahana. Self-suicide. Atma. Atma means self. Hana means killing. So Atmahana means a suicide. People may commit physical suicide. These people are committing spiritual suicide. They deny the Atman. They go far away from this truth, live in darkness and delusion. Such people are called Atmahana. Very wonderful expression. Killing oneself, spiritually speaking. Physical killing is bad, but not so bad for a being so high in evolution as man, as spiritual killing, denying his own reality, his own infinite self, by misbehaving like this. That is why in that Upanishad this idea had come, and you get it here in an elaborate way. Mam atma paradeheshu pradvishanto, hating me in himself and in others. Abhyasuyakaha, very malignant type of people. Tanaham dushata kruran samsareshu naradhaman. These people are kruran, very, very cruel. Krura is the word for cruelty, very cruel. Without tremendous blindness of spiritual awareness, man cannot become so cruel, completely shut out from the divine that is within. That is a type of cruelty. We have seen many examples of terrible cruelty. Even the terrorists, for example, so much cruelty. So also criminals, plenty of cruelty. They have forgotten their manhood, their humanity, and their divinity. Says, Tanaham, such people, Dvishataha, these hateful people, Samsareshu Naradhaman, they are the worst among human beings in the world. Nara Athaman, the worst among human beings. They are still human beings. And so they have forgotten their humanity and their higher divinity. Kshipami, he says, Ajasram Asuran. Such Asuras, I throw them into hell again and again. In what way? Through their own actions, through their own attitudes. There is no question of somebody trying to put them there. But in the order of nature, there is this result coming from this cause. Therefore, Asurisheva Yonishu, they will be born again and again in Asura Yonis. They can't get higher because their capital is very, very low, very poor. This is the nature of the future of a person who has become like this. But he can change later on. That is always emphasized. Man can change, man can become better, he has the freedom. In some chance encounter with a holy person, that man can change. That is there. But as it is, he is living a very hellish life again and again until awakening will come. So, Asurim Yonim Apanna. When they get into this Asuri body, Asurim Yonim Apanna, Mudha, these foolish people, Janmani, life after life, Mam Aprapyeva Kavanteya, without realizing me, hidden in them, in their own hearts. Tato Yanti Athamam Gatim. Thus they go to the worst state of existence. Man has got a high destiny. They don't realize all this. They go to the lowest level of human life. Mam Aprapya. Without getting me, without realizing me, ever present in them as the infinite self of all. This is the extreme form of Asuri Sampat, Asuri qualities. Now comes a summing up of this whole statement regarding Devi Sampat, Asuri Sampat, in a very beautiful verse. Trividham narakasyedam. The word naraka is used, and I repeat, doesn't mean in a particular place. The particular mental attitude, that is heaven or hell, we can produce ourselves. So he is telling 3 types of hells are there. Trividham narakasyedam dwaram nashanam atmanaha. Narakasya dwaram, the doorway to naraka or hellish life, are 3. 3 doorways are there. You can enter all the 3, or 1, or 2, or refuse to enter. That is up to you. But doorways are this. How do I get into a hellish condition? By entering into hell through one of these 3 doors, or 3 doors. What are they? Trividham narakasyedam dwaram nashanam atmanaha. For one's own self-destruction, there are 3 doorways. Attractive, you can easily enter. But if you enter, you are destroyed. Your spirit is completely destroyed there. What are these 3? That is what is coming all through the Gita, the subject, Kama, Krodha, Tatha, Lobha. These are the 3 doorways to a hellish life. Kama, lust. Beyond a certain level, it can take you to complete hellish condition. You can see it in modern civilization, earlier civilizations also. So many tragedies in history. You find this particular quality called Kama. When you overstep the limits, then you get into trouble. All the physical ailments, mental ailments, as Sri Ramakrishna said, Bhoga, Kama is Bhoga, sensory satisfaction. If you carry it too far, you are sure to come to Roga, that is disease, physical or mental. So the first thing is Kama, first doorway to that hellish life. Then comes Krodha, anger. We have discussed it several times in the Gita. Krodha can make a man absolutely mad, and in that madness he can do any evil thing also. Kama, Krodha. Tatha, Lobha. Lobha is greed, never-ending greed. That's called Lobha. Earning money, spending it for one's welfare is not Lobha. Absolutely natural and normal. But this irresistible urge, I want more, that takes him to all sorts of evil ways. And they come to trouble. Even in our day-to-day newspaper reports, you will find people who had plenty, they went for further and more, finally got into some mess and got into trouble. All this you can see plenty. It's going on every day. It is good to know what is what. Kama, Krodha, Tatha, Lobha. In normal life, we have Kama. A little Krodha is allowed in life. In fact, psychology tells you a little Krodha is necessary in human life. Otherwise we become goody-goody. Anybody can handle us. That should not be. So a little anger is essential Only we make it constructive, in creative, in operation. As I quoted from William McDougall of Harvard University, who lived about 50, 60 years ago. He refers to the need for anger in human life. It is anger that makes you react strongly when you see injustice in society. What you call it? Righteous indignation. When you find a rich man is troubling a poor man, you can't pass by. You must see that you protest against it. When you protest it, anger comes. That anger is creative anger. There is a place for creative anger in human life, says McDougall. We don't have it, we become ineffective in every sense of the term. Oh, I don't care, let it go on. All round injustice will multiply, you have not that indignation against it, and you will be living in a hell made by yourself. So there, anger has got a positive value to play. Public opinion, protest against injustice, evil, all that is needed. So anger has a place. Just like in physiology, pain has a place in human life. We don't want pain, isn't it? But without pain, you will die in no time. Pain alerts you, something is going wrong with your body. There is a disease by which you will have no sense of pain. You put your hand in the fire, it will be burning, you won't get pain. And that is where you destroy yourself. So, just like pain has a creative value for human preservation, so also anger. But it must be controlled, disciplined anger. Not that wild outburst of anger. There you will lose everything. So these are the things, at a certain level they are positive. Another level they become negative. This distinction we must know through our own discrimination. A moral life, a life of high character, needs the spirit of discrimination, viveka. Is it right? Is it wrong? How much I must go? When should I stop? This knowledge must be there. But the energy is needed. Anger is an energy. We have to push it into society to make for justice, welfare, etc. But the whole thing must be done in a highly disciplined manner. That has a place in human life and human society. But anything beyond it, kama, krodha, lobha, they become gateways to hell, because you have no control over them. They control you all the time. That is very bad. Any emotion, any feeling must be within our control, not beyond our control. Then they will ruin us, because they are all sources of tremendous energy. Remember, the intellect has very little energy, but these feelings and emotions have tremendous energy. And the intellect is meant to control this by a different type of energy. Energy of knowledge, energy of discrimination. That is buddhi. And so, these various energies hidden in man. Wonderful energies are there. In fact, that McDougall's one book is called The Energies of Men. What are the energies hidden in all of us? We have muscular energy, nervous energy, psychic energy, and one very, very impalpable energy, namely energy of the spiritual dimension. All these energies are there, hidden in every human being. Intellectual energy is discrimination, judgment. That power must be there to control these enormous energies that are functioning in the emotional system. They are compared to horses. Horses must be controlled to enjoy your ride. That's a language we saw in the Katha Upanishad, 3rd chapter. So he says, Trivitham naragasyedam dvaram nashanam atmanaha. Idam dvaram, this dvaram, trividham, threefold. Nashanam atmanaha, destructive of one's own life. What are they? Kama, krothas, tatha, lobha. Therefore, tasmat, therefore, etat trayam tyajed. Please forsake these three. Don't get into their clutches. Don't let them overpower you. You be the master, not they. That's a language. Kama, Krodha, Lobha. All moral development in society comes only by this discipline of Kama, Krodha, Lobha. Where there is no such discipline, that society becomes immoral. It has no inner strength. That is the end of civilization. Any study of, say, Gibbon's Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire, all these three values, these forces or evil forces, they became very strong in later Roman Empire. Nobody could control themselves. And so you will find a king being appointed in Rome one day. A few days later he is killed. Then another king. And he has to pay enormous money to the army, who is the controller of everything. If he doesn't pay enormous money, that army will finish him in one day. These kind of disruption came in human life in that great Roman Empire, which at one time was a center of tremendous discipline, tremendous order, and law has been a great contribution of the Roman mind. But towards the end, when these weaknesses came, no self-control, too much of lust, too much of anger, too much of what you call money, lobha, greed, slowly decayed. In about 200-300 years, that civilization became extremely decayed, and one touch from external invasion of the barbarians, Rome fell, never to rise again. So our society also has passed through these various experiences. So somehow some great teacher came, gave us a new message. His character was so great and pure, it had an impact upon the mind. We rose up once again. That's what happened during Buddha's time. Just one teacher. Tremendous moral elevation came to the nation at that time. Spirit of compassion. Wherever there is spirit of compassion, none of these evils will thrive there. How can lust, anger and greed function when the heart is full of compassion? I cannot exploit that person because I have compassion for him. So moral life became very high during that period. A few centuries it continued. Again slowly it vanished. The old element came once again. Then came the invasions. We are now passing through a period of decay behind us and great development ahead of us. In between, we find a mixture of everything. I used to tell students who question me in American university lectures this one question: you have all this evil there, this there, that there. I said, perfectly true. I don't want to hide anything. There is so much of evil in India, so many wicked practices, but it is passing through a tremendous phase. So any judgment about India will be correct. It is good, it is correct. It is bad, it is correct. Because it is passing through a tremendous period of transition. Good is going on here and there. Wickedness and evil, plenty you will find on the surface also. We are passing through that period. But because we had these great teachers, Sri Ramakrishna, Vivekananda, then in political life Gandhiji came, these influences cannot go for waste. One day they will influence us in a big way. That will take a little time. Then we shall start climbing up, controlling ourselves, becoming more moral, more human, but a beautiful development will come. It is for this Sri Ramakrishna came, Vivekananda came, and their operation is not merely for India. Today it is for the whole world, because the world is so small, communications are so easy. It was not so in Buddha's time. Today we can easily communicate. 10 years after Sri Ramakrishna's passing away, his name reached America through Swami Vivekananda. Imagine, it could never happen before. And so in this way, these evils which create a hellish society, they all live in a hellish condition. If you can't trust each other, where is heaven? Mutual trust is essential in a society. But if everybody is a bird of prey, trying to catch somebody, to exploit somebody, you can't trust anybody. Everybody is an evil genius behind you. Even the husband cannot trust the wife. Wife cannot trust the husband. That situation comes when this evil multiplies. Whereas in a healthy society, there is so much of trust, so much of mutual understanding, because I am not greedy. I do need money for my maintenance, but I am not greedy. That type of attitude we had at one time, we are losing it, we are getting back again. Some sections will develop it first, other sections will take later, in that way. All over the world you will find, therefore, these two types of people, the Rakshasa type and the Devi Sampat type. The Devi Sampat becomes less and less, Rakshasa more and more, then things become bad. Then slowly a change takes place. The Devi Sampat people become more and more. They are appreciated. That is a wonderful thing. Vivekananda said, when you appreciate virtue, you are on the road of becoming virtuous. If you appreciate evil, you are on the road of becoming a hellish person. There is still respect for virtues, appreciation of virtues in society all over the world. Therefore there is hope. We have not become so callous or cynical about all good things. Good things are appreciated. A great deed is done, we appreciate it. A boy saves another boy from drowning and we give him an award from the government of India. We appreciate that kind of thing, sacrificing one's life for the good of others. So in this way, it's a very slow process. Going down is a slow process. Going up also a very slow process. But we can discern some new development is going on, new ideas have been put into society, and one day a beautiful development will take place. So ideas, great ideas, put them into society. Society is like a cauldron. Something is cooking there. Let me put some good ideas also. Good moral values, we put into that cauldron. Then what cooks finally will be a beautiful society. Better moral values, more of Devi Sampat. That is the belief and faith of the people of India. By our own long national experience, we have been down, we have been up, we have been again down, we have been again up. So now that we are down, we are slowly going up. New forces have come to develop these qualities in us. That is how we can see the present situation. So these three doorways through which people enter, straight is the gate and narrow is the way that leads to perfection. There is a beautiful saying of Jesus. Straight is the gate, narrow is the way that leads to perfection. Broad is the gate, and also wide is the road that leads to destruction. And many there are that go thereat. That is a statement in the New Testament. Many like to go through these three doors. Kama, Krodha, Lobha. They go and they suffer. And then sometime awakening comes to them. They return back to the moral way. Having said this, Krishna says, Etai vimukta kaunteya tamodvare stribhir naraha acharat-yatmana shreyas tato yati parangatim. The man who has gone beyond these three gates of darkness, they are called gates of darkness. The language is tamodvara. Tamas is darkness. That opening by which you enter into darkness and more darkness. Nobody likes darkness, we want light. So tamodvaraihi etair vimuktaha, free from these three, kama, krodha, lobha, which are doorways of darkness. Tamodvaraihi tribhir naraha, a man who has overcome tendency to go through these three doorways, which are doorways leading to darkness, and then acharati atmanaha shreyaha, becomes engaged in working for one's own development and welfare. Acharati atmanaha shreyaha. That person, tato yati parangatim. By that effort, he will go to the highest level of existence. Tato yati parangatim. This is the way of hell, I discriminate, I change my direction, I will go through the way or doorway to light and life. Such person will certainly rise to the highest level of character. One of the great things that comes to us from our historic experience is even the worst person can change, can improve. We have seen it happening any number of times. There is nobody condemned forever. For some time I will be down. By some chance I rise up. There are people, by just hearing a small lecture of somebody, their mind has changed. It has gone into the good direction. So also a prisoner in the jail in Calcutta saw a picture of Sri Ramakrishna. He has done some crime. That picture gave him a new inspiration. Then he wanted a book and he became a completely changed person. So there is that divine spark in every one of us. It may assert some time or the other. So nobody is eternally condemned. It's all temporary. Therefore, Krishna says here, Etair vimukta kaunteya tamodvaraihi stribhir naraha acharati atmana shreyam. You practice your own welfare, turn in that direction. Tato yati param gatim. It goes to the highest state of existence, the way of light, the way of illumination. The mind becomes illumined, heart becomes illumined, moral life becomes natural to you. You don't have to struggle for it. That is the importance. Yas shastra visi utsrijya vartate kamakarataha nasa siddhim avapnoti na sukham na param gatim. Those who forsake the teachings of the Shastra. Shastra is the word for science. Shastra is the word for our scripture. Why scripture is to be obeyed? They give you true directions for a good life. Therefore, scriptures are to be obeyed. Suppose a scripture tells you to do wrong. That scripture is no scripture at all. So we have got a mixture of scriptures in our society. Some books will say practice untouchability. We have to say no to that scripture. They are all false scriptures. True scripture will never say so. It is based upon the Shruti. Shruti says everyone is divine. Any teaching of Smriti that goes against this Shruti teaching is absolutely valueless. We are not expected to follow that. So based upon the Shruti, any kind of scripture teaching is given to us for our own welfare, and therefore we adopt it. So follow the Shastra. Shastra says good, this is good for you. Just like in diet, we follow the Shastra. There we get the science of dietetics. Certain calories you need, certain qualities of food like protein and fat and other things you need. Therefore we follow science. Scientific dieting is very beautiful. Similarly, dealing with the body in a scientific way. Then other aspects of science also dealing with the world around you. Their science is very good to guide us. Here, in higher dimension of life, the spiritual science is to be followed. That is also Shastra. That is physical Shastra. This is mental and moral Shastra. So, he says here, Yah Shastra Vidhim Utsrajya. What you call completely negating the injunctions of the Shastra. Whoever works and behaves out of his own kama, inclination, desire, without reference to the teaching given in the Shastra, kama karataha, nasa siddhim avapnoti. He can never achieve siddhi, success or perfection. Na sukham, nor happiness, na param gatim, nor the highest state of life. Follow the Shastra is the injunction. Don't break the Shastra. But here I am making the distinction from our point of view. We have an orthodox understanding that the Shruti is the highest Shastra, that is the Upanishads. Any teaching that goes against the Upanishads is no Shastra for us. Our misfortune has been, we followed Shastras who violated the teachings of the Shrutis for centuries together. One such practice is untouchability. All this caste arrogance. These are all against the Shruti. Shruti speaks of equality, the same Atman in every human being. We never followed that. So there are sections in our Shastras which do not deserve the word Shastra. That's why we are rejecting them. We have got new Shastras to help us in this period. Our constitution tells you about human unity, human dignity, human freedom. That is true Shastra. Wherever there is discrimination between man and man, there is no Shastra there. So the idea, follow the Shastra, we must primarily understand it as Shruti. Shruti will never speak against any human being. Shruti is universal. The word Sanatana comes there. Sanatana Dharma, eternal Dharma, is based on the Shruti. But Smriti is what deals with day-to-day Dharma, Yuga Dharma, for a particular period. This distinction is accepted by Indian orthodoxy, and we must follow it today. And we are doing it. All the Shrutis, all the Smritis that spoke of human discrimination, we are rejecting today. That speak of human unity, we are accepting, because based upon the Shruti. This is a wonderful distinction. Nowhere else in the world you will find this. The Shruti is eternal, the Smritis come and go. That's why we have many Smritis within the last 5,000 years. Shruti is only one, because it deals with truth, the truth about man, the truth about human relations, truth about the divine hidden in all. That truth is unchanging, eternal. That's the validity of the Shruti. And the Smriti must follow the Shruti. If it follows the Shruti, it is accepted as a Shastra. If it doesn't follow the Shruti, violate the Shruti, then it has no Shastra value. Keeping this discrimination in mind, this shloka is correct. Those who break the injunctions of the Shruti, injunctions of the Shastra, because of their own propensity for this and that, kamaka artha, he cannot achieve spiritual development or perfection, and no kind of happiness will come to him. Na sukham, na param gatim. This is the language where the word Shastra comes. The next sloka also is going to tell us, follow the Shastra. And the next chapter also begin with the word, if you break the Shastra, what will happen to you? Arjuna will ask the question. So the word Shastra comes here in 3 verses. It says, Nasa Shastra Vidhi Mutsrijya, forsaking Shastra Vidhi, do this, don't do this. For human welfare only, these vidhis are there. Certain things are there. Take for example, one wonderful teaching in our Ayurveda and our other many books also, that when you eat, fill half the stomach with food, 1/4 of the stomach with water, the remaining 1/4 for free passage of air. This is the instruction given. If you fill up to this with food, you will suffer, sure as anything. That is one injunction. It is a Shastra. Studying the human system, they have given us this instruction. So in this way, there are so many instructions given to us by the Shastra. If you follow them, you will be better. That's all. If you don't follow, you will suffer. You don't want to suffer, therefore follow the Shastra. The next sloka, Krishna is telling therefore, he says, last sloka of this 16th chapter, Tasmat Shastram Pramanante. Therefore, your pramana, your source of knowledge is the Shastra. Follow the Shastra. It is meant for you. This, take it along with that qualification. I told you that many Smritis are known as Shastra, but they do not contain the truths the Shrutis gave. They go against the teaching of the Shruti. They women have no rights. There are so many Smritis you will find. Women have duties from morning 4 o'clock to night 10 o'clock, and they have no rights at all. Such books are there. That is not sanctioned in the Shruti. Perfect equality between man and woman is what the Shruti has said. We have violated the Shruti in the name of Shastra, 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 because we didn't discriminate between Shastra and Shastra. So, today we have to make that discrimination. So, teaching is correct. Follow the Shastra. Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te. For what? Karyakari Vyavasthito. What should be done, what should be avoided. In this matter, follow the Shastra. The inner life, there is a Shastra. Outer life, there is physical Shastra, physical science. Both are Shastra. This one deals with it in our day-to-day life, outside. The other deals with our own inner life, how to make it healthy, pure. There, the spiritual Shastra alone can help us there. Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te. Karyakari Vyavasthito. What is Karya? What is Akarya? What is to be done? What is not to be done? In this subject, Shastra will be your authority. Follow the Shastra. Thus, Jnatva, knowing this truth, Shastra Vidhanoktam Karma Kartum Iharasi. You are to do works or actions sanctioned by the Shastras. Shastra Vidhanoktam. Such actions only you should do. And Shastra always speaks about what is good for all people, not one against the other. There is no Shastra. Real Shastra is whatever it teaches is good for one and all. Therefore it is worth following. If it does good to me, does evil to 10 others, there is no Shastra there. And no real Shastra will ever say so. There is that sense of justice, respect for all beings, the same Atman in every being. So any kind of discriminatory teaching cannot come from a true Shastra. Though many of our so-called Shastras contain many discriminatory teaching. Like people quote, if a Shudra utters any Vedas, molten lead must be poured into his ear. That is called our own prejudices put into the form of Shastra, that's all. What you call sectional prejudices, one section against other, strong people against weak people. These things we have plenty. Even upper classes have made laws. Those laws are all meant for strengthening themselves, weakening the common people. And they call it also law. There is such a thing as a lawless law. That we are fighting against today. Many societies are governed by lawless laws. They had power, they arrogated, prepared a law, and they said this is to be followed. No. That's why protest against law. Many countries you will find, all revolutions come when laws become lawless, absolutely anti-human. Therefore there is protest, mild protest or strong protest. Take the French Revolution. No better example than that, when all the laws went to exploit the common people, destroy them practically by a small section of the upper classes and the church. The church and the upper classes were everything. All property belonged to them. The poor people had no say in the matter. This became too strong from the reign of Louis XIV to Louis XVI. France was really in a bad condition. Great thinkers came, spoke of human rights. Therefore, people got awakened, and then came that wonderful revolution, 1789. French Revolution is a tremendous event in history. In a few days, they turned everything upside down. King and queen were executed, thousands of aristocrats were executed, all the property was in their hands. Nobody else had any property. That kind of, though laws are established by law, but that law is really lawless. So often we use the word government established by law. There's a wonderful expression in political language. But that law is questioned. It is one-sided law because it is done by a group of people at the top for their own advantage. You call it law. We resist it. If you have the strength, you will resist. If you resist and if you are destroyed, that whole law will continue. If you resist and you succeed, a new law will come, much more just, much more for the welfare of others. Never you can get a perfect law in any society, but better, better, better. More and more of welfare of people will be possible through that law. So, there is a beautiful idea. Ideal society is where justice and law coincide. There is law. Much of it is based on injustice. That is not good. Let there be more of justice in society. Then law and justice will coincide. That is a healthy society. Today it is not. Today law and justice never coincide in India. There is so much injustice, day to day, here, there, everywhere. Because law is in the control of a section of people above. They control everything. This is perfectly true. People have to be alert so that their dignity, their individuality must also find a place. That's why alertness of the citizen is essential, because we are a democracy. Without any serious political violence, we have established a democracy. Now only alertness. Wherever there is injustice, I must protest. I will join together and protest. This is the spirit that keeps alive justice in society, what you call dharma. Everybody knows one's own limitation. Everybody knows the other people have rights. I will respect it. This attitude, when it becomes pervasive, you have a healthy society. Our society is far, far away from that healthy state. That's why our education must become capable of enlightening us on the subject. What is my role in society? I am not an isolated individual. I have got a responsibility. I am a citizen. This awakening, when it comes, to at least 15 or 20% of the people, things will completely change. Today, not even 1% has this attitude in the whole of India. We are citizens only because of our age, 21 or 18. Mere, what you call, physiological age makes me a citizen. But what is the mind? That mind has not come. That spirit of responsibility, desire to see injustice removed from society, that's what makes a citizen such an important element in a democracy. So, Krishna says here, Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te. Shastra must be followed. Our constitution has no kind of, what you call, anything bad in it. Our implementation is really very, very bad. Constitution contains very lofty ideas, humanistic ideas, equality of men and women, equality of all human beings, all that is there. So as a Shastra we can respect it. But the way it is implemented is entirely defective. There is no real equality, no real justice in society. Therefore, the only remedy is alert, alert. A set of alert citizens will ever act when there is something wrong. That is why we have a big responsibility. Gita teaching is individual, inward life. But outward life is also very important. In an unjust society, you can't practice high moral and spiritual virtues. So if I want to practice that, I must keep this society in a stable condition. So this is needed for that. That is why political, social, economic, all these areas of society must be perfectly understood by our people and then contribute. They must contribute to bring health to society. In that society, more people can become highly moral, highly spiritual. We can trust each other. What a beautiful idea of a society. A paraspara bhava, mutuality, interdependence of society. That is our aim. Democracy, which is political today, must become economic and social tomorrow. Social democracy, very beautiful conception it is. And these things are only for one purpose. I can grow spiritually in society of that nature. Otherwise, day-to-day pressures are so much, there is no time thinking of higher things at all. So India's democracy has got a spiritual direction. Then only it will truly in our spiritual tradition. So that's the responsibility of all people in that Eternal Values, Volume 4. I have written there the first lecture, Enlightened Citizenship and Our Democracy. These subjects come there. The title is Total Human Development through Democracy. Ordinary development you can get, more of money, more of comfort, more of consumer goods, etc. But what about moral values, humanistic values, spiritual development? That was a total development of man. Economic, social, physical, mental and spiritual. Total development. That needs this Vedantic touch. That is oriented in that lecture on enlightened citizenship and our democracy, the first lecture in volume 4. So, Tasmat Shastram Pramanante Karyakari Vyavasthito. Whatever is to be done, what is not to be done, follow the Shastra. Jnatva Shastra Vithanoktam. Whatever is told by the Shastra, having known it, karma kartum iha arhasi. You should do your actions in this life based upon that understanding of what does the Shastra say. Say, for example, what does the Constitution say? I see a poor man is being persecuted by a strong rich man. What does the Shastra say for me? I have to protest against it. That's called what Shastra will say. Then my action will be according to the Shastra. Similarly, in spiritual life also, don't be too greedy. Then character falls away. Greedy life and character can never go together. Absolutely not. So I want to have high character. So let me, consumer mania must be controlled so that greed is controlled thereby. In this way, this last exhortation, follow the Shastra, understand it first. All our people must study the Constitution. What is this education worth if we do not know what this Constitution is? That is our Shastra for our political, social behavior. And many people do not know what the Shastra says. Similarly, the Gita is a great Shastra of moral and spiritual life. We must follow. And in many religions, there are these Shastric injunctions you should follow. But any injunction that is against other people, we should not follow. That is not true Shastra. That must be constantly kept in view. So finally, Krishna ends up this chapter with this exhortation. Tasmat Shastram Pramanante. Your Pramana is the Shastra. Follow the Shastra. All will achieve the best development possible. So, what a beautiful subject of nature of the human mind. Wicked and constructive and creative. Highly humanistic. We choose to be humanistic. We want to grow. We want to expand. To such people, this kind of teaching will be a great stimulus. I have a belief. My belief is strengthened, fortified by Krishna's teaching. Therefore, I become more enthusiastic in following my good life, moral life, higher life. This is the teaching. The next chapter, 17, begins with this question. If somebody doesn't follow the Shastra, still behaves like this, he worships, he does good things, what is the way? What is his destiny? That's how the question comes in the next chapter. There you have many other discussions about food, about life, about tapas, all these things from the 3 points of view, sattva, rajas and tamas. A very interesting chapter is ahead of us. We shall take it next Sunday. I have to make only 2 announcements. One is Swami Vivekananda. Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmaswarupine avatara varisthaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha. Salutations today, Sri Ramakrishna. You came to establish dharma, not any limited, separate dharma, the embodiment of all dharmas, a divine incarnation, to thee be our salutation.